For the function defined here, find f of 0, f of 2, and f of 4 by using the graph below. So we have a definition for this function, but it isn't really necessary in order to come up with where these points are. So for instance, I have f of 0 to find, f of 2 to find, and f of 4. So these points I could just plug into and solely use the definition. But I have the graph, which is actually even better, because the graph has already solved for all the y values as well. So for any particular x value, so say -2, the y value that's associated with it is just where the point is located on the graph. So this is at -2, 3. So that's a point on my graph, which means if I put -2 into this function, so -2 would be less than 2, it would go into the first, well then, -2 squared plus 1 would be, minus 1, my bad. -2 squared minus 1 would be 4 minus 1, which is 3, and that's where that point is located. So the graph is actually the collection of all the x and y coordinate pairs for a function. So let's take advantage of that. Another way to think of it is y is defined as f of x, which means your coordinate pairs x, y look like x comma f of x, because y is equal to f of x. So let's start off with f of 0. So we find 0 on the x, and then determine where that is on the graph, and then come up with the coordinates of this point. So the coordinates are 0, -1. So when the x is 0, the y is -1. So that's the value of the function there. Okay, f of 2. So when x is 2, oh, I've got a choice here, it looks like. I've got a point up here, and then I've got a point down here. The difference is this point down here is an open circle, which means it's undefined. So the function is not defined there, which means it's up here instead, where there's a closed circle or a curve of some sort. That's where the function is defined. So this has the coordinates 2, +3. So for an input value of 2, the output y is 3. Now, f of 4. So I find 4 on the x, and then I come down and find where the graph is, and look for the coordinates of this point. So it's 4 on the x and -3 on the y. So that means this input value of 4 has an output value of -3. And you could, as I said, absolutely use the function definition for that as well, but using the graph is actually a little bit easier.